Hello, I don't know who you are yet, but I'm not going to take this. But the Seven of Raphael just came out in reverse. If you saw the live earlier today with the correspondences between the Ace through the Nine of the Minors and the 72 angels, the 72 Shem angels, I'm just going to say the Shem because I can't say Shem Haim Paras or whatever, even though I just said it. Then I'm going to get into that. And so I have these Archangel Power cards, and there's upright and reverse. I'm making sure to put some reversals in here. And I'm going to use my favorite virtual assistant to select who goes today. I was going to use a pair of dice, but I would have to dig them out, and I'm not feeling that today. So, hey Siri, choose a random number between 1 and 12.
A random number between 1 and 12 is
10. 10. So that is Capricorn? Wasn't expecting that. The one sign I was not expecting was Capricorn. And it's storming outside, so my laptop has a battery, so the power shouldn't go out here, but I guess it'll get dark and you won't be able to see anything. Release immediately comes out, Capricorn, and I'm not going to keep this. There's a frog here. It feels like this frog doesn't want to get wet. And so it builds this tower of lily pads to keep it out of the water. And it's about not doing that. So if you've been outside of your emotions, or if there are certain emotions that you've been avoiding, Capricorn, then it's time to let that go. Because it feels like you may be on the brink of a spiritual evolution. And being emotionally disconnected may negatively impact your ability to sort of proceed with that smoothly. There may be some things that Spirit is trying to get you to see to release you of, or trying to get you to release yourself of. But it feels like there may be some heaviness tied to that. So, these feel sufficiently shuffled. And I'm going to shuffle these again anyway. So, let's look and see which angel we have coming out for you. Who's coming out for Capricorn? Which of the 72 Shem angels wants to step forward and claim Capricorn? Also, I need to make a note. So, oh wait, I don't, because I'm not doing a number. Alright, Capricorn. I feel like my third eye is getting really warm. I feel like there's a sensation there, but it's not giving me the full tingle. It feels like there's something that's trying to come in there, but it's not, it's being blocked. It's like there's something that you don't want to see. There's something that you don't want to face emotionally, and it's keeping you from seeing something. It's keeping you from receiving something. And I'm not going to try to break this thing open, so the Ace of Ariel, Keter, the Crown, and the Seven of Michael. I don't remember what card came out before I was ready. The Ace of Ariel and the Seven of Michael, so you got two angels. You were only supposed to get one. I'm going to move these off to the side. So we have Keter and then 7. I think 7 is Pod? Maybe? Or it might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's Hod. So you have the Creator and something else with that 7 of Michael. Again, I only wanted one, but that's fine. Who's coming out for this Ace of Ariel? I guess I'm going to get all these and then see. And I don't know if these will be like two of the same or different or what. Let me trying to. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to do. I think since this is Keeter, I'm actually going to leave this angel without any clarifiers. Because Keeter does sort of broach that world that exists almost outside of our capability to understand. But Keeter came out earlier in this way of that which we may not be able to articulate or understand necessarily, but that which can be observed. And it's how, like, even when you're a kid, you can see something that you're not yet. Typically, it's in a negative light, but not necessarily in this case. It's like when you're a child, how you can see or be exposed to something before you have an ability to grasp or understand it. It's a little bit like that. So the Five of Cups and the Hanged Man are here. Bottom of the deck is the Eight of Cups. So I guess we are talking about release. What's the bottom of the deck over here? The bottom of the deck over here is Transmute. So we have the Eight of Cups and we have Transmute sitting at the bottom of these decks. I'm going to move these off as well, which means I got to find somewhere for them to go. Back in the boxes. Back in the box with you. Where's this box? Here it is. It looks like behind the Eight of Cups is the Five of Coins. The Five of Pentacles. You got the Five of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. If no one else brought you in, Capricorn, you need to bring you in. And if you weren't brought in the past, you could. It's not fair for you to have your past experiences dictating your present reality. Because it feels like, again, there's something that you're not quite seeing, something that you're not quite receiving because of maybe some heavy emotions that it's difficult for you to go back to. Like, at this point, is this even beneficial? Don't move this, please. Oh my gosh, you seeing all my mess, Capricorn. Did I need this? I feel like it's too bright. Yeah, we'll turn it back off. Seven of Michael, so you have the Hanged One, the Five of Cups, and seeing there's something in the third eye. It's like it's crying. And you see that line of the triangle above the third eye, it feels like a ceiling. It feels like there's something that you can't receive. And that with the downward pointing triangle, that's the element of water. Not surprising for the five of Cups, but there's something in that emotional body. There's a blockage in the emotional body that's manifesting a blockage in the spiritual one. And with the Creator here, I wouldn't be surprised if you are maybe not entirely consciously recreating a reality or situations and scenarios that you don't want to live. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. But let's get into this. So, the Seven of Michael, which is the Seven of Swords, this is... Give me a minute to scroll and find. Give me a minute, please, to scroll and find who this is. Okay, so the Seven of Swords is Hahasaya. This is Netzach. So it's not Had, it's Netzach. Netzach is... It's about moving forward. I'm going to read it in this other book, what that emanation is about. I know Had is about surrendering, so Netzach is about not surrendering, because it balances Had. So, right leg. Oh, wait, hold it. Right leg endurance. The seventh emanation, the force that resists. Stalwart in the face of adversity, this great leader carries us forth through our darkest times. Netza is the strength to endure, regardless of suffering. When we feel that we have reached our limits, and yet new strength continues to emerge, we find the embrace of Netza. With any increase in force, he too grows stronger. Each challenge is met with equal vigor. The green orb is both the weight of a great boulder upon our shoulders and the strength needed to carry it. Supporting the pillar of mercy, Netza is the closest we get to the base of the tree before merging back into the middle. His station is one of constant stress and strain, supporting the weight of the tree by pressing back upward against it. Found in victory, exercise, and leadership. And this feels like Capricorn bearing the weight of the world. Not surprising for Capricorn. This is Moon in Aquarius. It is also 11 to 15 degrees of Gemini, which is ruled by Venus. And this is under the ruling angel of Hanio. So let me scroll up and see what Hahasaya is all about. Hahasaya. Where are you? Hahasaya. This is secret and impenetrable. Angel to the alchemists and mystics, assists in the revelation of mysteries and wisdom, aids in the discovery of the philosopher's stone to those who are worthy of such knowledge. An angel who loves deeply plant life, animals, and minerals. And so the card that came out with the creator, let me pop this back up so I can actually see. I can see better on the camera than I can in real life. The Sage. What? You got the Sage and the creator. But between these two, this talked about the alchemist, right? Angel to the alchemists and mystics, assists in the revelation of mysteries and wisdom. So the thing about release, it's like there's something that your past is your past for a reason. Your past is like you, Capricorn specifically. Your past is your past for a reason. Your path is your path because of who you are. And so the challenges that you faced and overcome, everything that you've endured has been for a reason. It's almost like every challenge and every difficulty you've gone through in life has held some kind of knowledge or wisdom for you. And it's almost like the more challenging the experience, the more powerful the knowledge or the wisdom that lie behind it. And so for you to be in a space of avoiding heavy emotions because of the challenges or difficulties associated with them, it's almost like that's you disconnecting from the very things that would make you unstoppable, that would make you unshakable, unspookable. But it feels like you're going to have to dive deep to get it. And I don't know if that's something that you're necessarily comfortable with. It is something that you're extremely capable of. As the sea goat, you can go just as deep as you go high. And there's a lot that you can sort of do, Capricorn, that other people would need a team for. And it's not that you don't need anybody, but it is this energy of like you are capable of more. You can go higher without a team. You can go deeper without a team. Right? It's like usually if you're mountain climbing, you want to go with at least one other person. But the goat goes up and down the mountain with ease. There's something powerful within you, Capricorn, that is hidden behind a wall of grief or behind a wall of sadness. There's a gem in there that it's like it hurts too much to even enter the room to find the very thing you're looking for. I mean, with the sage and the creator, with the angel to the alchemists and mystics, secret and impenetrable. What is this? Hachasaya? Hachashaya? Or Hahasaya? My ha is rusty. I don't know how to do that, so if I'm offending anyone, I'm sorry. Angel to the alchemists and mystics, assists in the revelation of mysteries and wisdom, aids in the discovery of the philosopher's stone to those who are worthy of such knowledge. An angel who loves deeply plant life, animals, and minerals. To those who are worthy of such knowledge. It feels like this is your grand challenge, Capricorn. And I almost want to say that the worst things that are ever going to happen to you have already happened to you. And I guess it's no coincidence that I was talking about earlier about how things can sort of happen to us before we're really able to process them sometimes, and how damaging that can be on the psyche and on a person's development. Because it's almost like you were meant to experience a lot. You were meant to develop a lot more before you had certain experiences, right? So let's say that you get food poisoning eating a certain food, right? It's like you were meant to eat 25 apple pies before you got food poisoning from a bad one, to teach you that not all apple pies are good, and in fact, most of them are all right. But if the very first apple pie you have you get food poisoning from, it's like it turns you off to apple pie forever. It can potentially do that. Or if you've had like 2 or 3 bad apple pies out of like the 28 that you were supposed to have, right? 25 good ones. And then even if you have 3 bad apple pies in a row, you've still had 25 prior to know that not every single apple pie is bad. So let's see what this Ace of Pentacles is talking about. The Ace of Ariel. Here's the 4, 5, 6, 3, 2, 1. Ace of Pentacles. This is Mebahaya. Saphira is Keter. It's the element of Earth. Capricorn, 1 to 5 degrees. Deccan rulership of Saturn. This is also ruled by Archangel Haniel. So both of these are Haniel. I don't have anything to read up on Haniel. I could look it up, but I'm not going to do that. If you want to research more about her, if you know more about her, then interject that knowing here. I will read Keter, though, for you. Keter is the crown in spirituality. The first emanation, the first utterance, the font of energy through which Ein Sof emanates into the universe. The crown sits above the head and embodies that which is beyond our comprehension. One must envision Keter not as an object that can be perceived, but as the light that is cast upon it. Keter's light is beyond knowability, a timeless expanse of pure consciousness. Only through respect for our own limitations do we begin to see the shadow of its nature. It is the dark orb behind which lies the infinite. As the highest point on the tree, all continuums cascade downward from it. Keter stands in contrast to Malkuth, who rests at the very bottom of the tree. The span that lies between them measures the complete distance from the most spiritual to the most physical aspects of our existence. Journeying downward from this point, all other emanations become increasingly close to our present experience. found in spiritual epiphany, faith, and humility. So I feel like it's no coincidence that we have this angel to the mystics and the alchemists coming out with this Mebahaya. I haven't read it yet, but it's sitting in the space of Keter, that which is unknowable, the most spiritual. But again, it feels like underlying is this extremely intense spiritual gift. But what's blocking it more consciously, it's a hesitation to enter certain spaces. So let me read Mebahaya, and then I guess that'll be it. I'll try to get some advice. I don't know how good I am at that, but I'll try. Who is this? Mebahaya. Let me just keep scrolling up. I said I was gonna put this in a way that's easier for me to read, but I did not do that yet. So bear with me, Capricorn. Oh wait, no, it's right here. MBH, Mebahaya. It should be next to PVI. Let's see, I'll search for MBH and see if that pops up. Oh, whew, right here. Wait, Mebahaya? Mebahaya. Okay, this is eternal. Call upon Mabaya to help you secure the compensation that you deserve. Angel who brings consolation, cares deeply for justices, and supports just causes. Not all of these tell you what these angels care deeply about. This one cared deeply about plant life, animals, and minerals. This one cares deeply about justices and supporting just causes. Eternal. Call upon this one to help you secure the compensation that you deserve. So is this energy here of, it's like you've already gone through the experiences. Again, it's like your past is your past for a reason. Your path is your path for a reason. It's all catered to you, and it's all catered toward getting you to reach certain points in your life. Not saying that any wrong that you suffered was deserved in any way. But it's like you, Capricorn of all people, are capable of becoming more than your circumstances and more than your experiences. And it's almost like your energy, unlike any other, would be able to, I want to say, like turn lemons into lemonade. Would be able to salvage and make something usable out of this. And that's what this is. This is about turning your hardships and your challenges and your pains into something that you can use to propel you even further, to effectively put you outside of the realm of those potentialities. But it feels like there's something that, without your facing it, you're unconsciously recreating it. Oh my gosh, that's I don't want to say that. It feels like there's something that holds you back for a good reason. If you need to seek out a licensed professional, please do. I don't know how deep this trauma goes. And it might not even necessarily be something super traumatizing. It just may be something that you've sort of resigned yourself to accepting. And it's almost this energy that's like, don't you want more? Don't you think you're deserving of more? And then you'd be like, yeah, of course I want more. I wouldn't want this. I wouldn't wish this upon anybody. But there's nothing I can do about it. And so in that, it's like there's a difference between release and resignation. There's a difference between releasing something and resigning yourself over to something, right? Do I even have any advice? Any advice cards? I got the Witch's Tarot. I don't know why this one, but well, it's the Witch's Tarot, right? Witches also appreciate minerals and plant life and animals, right? They're like alchemists, right? Because this one feels especially like unresolved. So let's get some advice for Capricorn, please. Or what would have helped Capricorn along their way? I would say while you're exploring these things, draw closer to those that you care about. If there's someone who is close to you who you can trust to sort of be there for you, not that they're necessarily going to remedy this problem for you, they'll just hold space for you while you do it yourself. Yeah. I feel like these cards are like, just do it. Like, we know that it's scary, but you're strong enough. We know that it's dark, but you're strong enough. We know that this is something that you're afraid of, but there's a light in this. This is something that you can conquer. It is something that you can face with the Queen of Swords at the bottom of the deck and the King of Wands under her. I feel like this King of Wands speaks to your cardinal nature. And it speaks to, like, you are the type of person that would be able to make all of your desires come true. That's the King of Wands energy. And you would know how to go about doing it, which is the Queen of Swords energy. I feel like you're an excellent judge of character. Maybe there were things that happened to you in the past that made you grow up a little quickly, or that taught you that you can't necessarily trust everybody or everything. Maybe it taught you not to put all your eggs in one basket. But the danger of the Queen of Swords is that she can go so hardcore into like being a victor instead of a victim that sometimes she can be overly quick to judge a situation based off of what she's already experienced because of what she doesn't want to experience again. And the Page of Wands is behind that. So it is almost this energy where it's like, well, it could work out differently. It could be something completely different. And it's like this Page of Wands is waving at the Queen of Swords. Like, he barely got a wave in, and she's already, like, on to the next. Because she sees him as this king. When he may not be. Behind the Page of Wands is the Ten of Cups. And this Five of Wands. This is where the actual issue lies. The actual issue lies, it feels like, in your ability to be happy. Because I was going to say that, like, the Ten of Cups behind this Page of Wands proves that this Page of Wands is not this King of Wands, that the King of Wands is someone that Capricorn has dealt with before, and things didn't end well. But the issue isn't even with the King of Wands or the Page of Wands. The issue is with sitting in this energy of being happy. And again, like, maybe it's because you grew up too quickly, or maybe you had an experience that you weren't. And there are some things that were never able, or we're never ready to experience. Ever. But we could manage them better if we've already managed difficulty, right? If we already sort of have coping mechanisms in place, if we already have a support system in place. And again, it's this energy. It's like, don't be afraid to lean on your support system, or there may be someone in your life who could be there for you in a way to hold space for you while you go through this. Not necessarily to fix you, because this is something that you need to sort of see and discover within self. It's not to fix you, it's to hold space for you. And I don't really know how to tell you what the difference in those two is. But right now, whatever box, emotional prison you keep yourself in, it's limiting what you can see. It's almost like you've seen everything that that old framework allows you to see. And that's why you're sitting at the hangman. It's like you already have the knowledge, you already have the wisdom, you already have the capability. And so it's not like this is a fully grown rose, right? So it's not in, again, it's like it's not something that you're not able to handle. It just requires you to go into an uncomfortable space. But it's one that like you will find support in with that strength card. Not only will you find an internal strength, not only will you find that which will make you unconquerable, but you'll also find support in there. And I think you'll find love in a space that you didn't necessarily. I don't know if there's something about you, Capricorn, that you think would make you unlovable, but that's not the case. That's not true. That was heavy, Capricorn. I mean, there's such beautiful energy sort of supporting, and there's such beautiful energy to be gained with the Sage and the Creator. And the Sage and the Creator, that's like Capricorn energy. Capricorn knows what works. Capricorn, it's like Capricorn is able to see past, present, and future. It's like Capricorn is able to take the past, contextualize it for the present, and then come up with a structure to project into the future. That's that wisdom that Capricorn has. And something built and established by, like, I want to say a higher vibrational Capricorn energy. It's like it just takes everything into account. It's a perfect plan. It's almost like that's why it's associated with like alchemists and mystics. It never fails. But if there's something that you have been exposed to that you don't want to face, then it's like those are things and factors that you're not accounting for. And it doesn't make you any less good at what you do, because you're very good at it. And it also may be that maybe one day in the future, with the angel who loves justice and supporting just causes, what was it? Cares deeply for justices and supports just causes. Maybe you come into a position of advocacy later, if this is something that you experienced. If there were things that you wish you would have had, resources you wish you would have had, things you wish you would have known while you were going through that, it's like, well, you're going to be the person to establish that for other people. You're going to be the person that brings a light to this dark space, where all you have is sort of like the light of your torch to go off of, but you get to sort of set it up and establish it so that there's a star or even a sun in this for other people. And it may be the sun, because the strength is ruled by Leo. And it's interesting because now this Ace of Pentacles, it's coming out as like a new celestial body. right? Maybe it's a new moon that you put in the sky that's always full, or it's full in this area, or it's like you help to create a world where whatever this is, it's like it no longer exists, or it exists to a lesser capacity because of the awareness and the attention that you help bring to this issue. It could be something that people don't even know about. And maybe that's why you've never really found support in that area. Just like you weren't able to contextualize it or process it when it happened to you, I feel like maybe other people aren't able to contextualize or process it or comprehend it, especially when they don't go through it and when they don't have to deal with the aftermath and like what happened in that time, right? This doesn't necessarily have to be something catastrophic or extremely traumatic. It's just something that you have a very high emotional sort of resistance to because of how it makes you feel. You'd rather like be more productive or work more. But it's like, I don't know if it's reached that point with the Hangman and the Five of Cups. Maybe it has reached the point where it's starting to affect your work and your day-to-day life. Maybe you are sort of meeting more people, or you're finding yourself in positions that's asking for more from you. And you've given all that you can give without resolving and healing this. I don't know. But this could definitely turn into some kind of advocacy later. And maybe that's the transmutation with that alchemist. Transmute was at the bottom of the deck. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. Transmute was at the bottom of the deck. And then we had that alchemist. Right? Yeah, transmute. And look, it looks like that's a little third eye. And also, oh, I wish I would have kept that release card out. Because it looks like this, what, Queen Bee might be on top of that, where the frog was sitting on top of the lily pad doing something very similar to this in release. But in transmute, the bee is actually like in midair. It's an aerial angle that makes it look like it's still grounded here, but this bee, it can fly now. It's not bound to that. And it's like it lifts that third eye up to the light. In a way, it's like, again, it's broken this ceiling. Let me see. It's broken past that. Maybe it's you. Maybe you are the one who brings something forward in a way where something is actually done about it. I don't know, Capricorn. This is, I would say it's a heavy calling, but it doesn't feel like it, because it feels like the more you engage in that space, it's almost like the more healing you sort of receive. And it reminds me of a TikTok I saw on Twitter the other day. It was a slightly older, maybe like my age or a little bit older, so maybe like late 20s, early 30s, maybe even younger. Not any younger than that, I'm sure. It was a gay dude. And he was like, seeing these TikToks of like these super young, like boys who are together, or even like girls who are together. It's heartwarming because he was like, I'm not that old, but even when I was growing up, this isn't something that I would do. And then he was like, it also makes me cry because I feel like this was something that I was never allowed to experience. And so there is the part where it's like, operating in this space may bring you some healing because of what you prevent from happening in the future, or what you uh, decrease the occurrence of in the future, decrease the impact of, but it isn't necessarily going to undo it within you. And again, I think that's where that Five of Wands comes in with the Ten of Cups. potentially. I do think that you would be able to work past it, though. With the Angel of the Alchemists and Mystics, with that Transmute card, I don't know, Capricorn. This is heavy. I didn't expect for it to be this heavy. If this resonates with you, then I wish you all the best. And I feel like you don't have to go through this alone. There may not be people who have gone through what you have gone through in your life, but it feels like you have people who will hold space for you. And even if they can't personally understand because they love and care about you, they'll hold that space. And the Eight of Cups is here, right? At the bottom of this deck, we move from the Hangman and the 5 to the 8. That's being in a space to finally walk away rather than continuously mourning it. And look, now the third eye. Remember the Transmute card? It was holding up the third eye to the light. There's so much synchronicity in all of this. Now, instead of you being trapped in your emotions with that inverted triangle symbolizing water, with the upright triangle symbolizing fire, it's like you're capable of expressing these things. And in the expression of them, you find strength. And I feel like Reem said that in her Pisces reading, maybe? It was in Taurus or Pisces when she was reading for the summer solstice. It's like when you can talk about what you've gone through without sort of breaking down. Even if you do break down a little bit, because, you know, being reminded of those emotions, but it's like when you can make it through it, make it through talking about it without being like emotionally disconnected from it. Because there were things I could talk about easily that I was very emotionally disconnected from. Doesn't mean that it didn't hurt. Doesn't mean that it wasn't affecting me. I could just talk about it because I had accepted it as is. I wasn't really in a space to change it. And again, it's like there's a difference between release and resignation. But it's like with that, again, with that fire energy, not only is it walking away, it's being able to express it. And you can express things from that place without being in that place once you're outside of that place. Right? It's like you can talk about what you've gone through without being triggered back into those sort of spaces, feeling those exact same feelings after you make it out of it. And if people knew everything that you went through, not that you necessarily owe it to anybody, but it feels like they would appreciate you a lot more because it feels like you are extremely strong. But it's almost like, you know, you don't have to be. You don't have to suffer in silence anymore. So that's what I got for you, Capricorn. I always say I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this, and I do, but man, like when it's rough like this, I'm like, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that you allow yourself the opportunity to move beyond your past, to transmute that, to seek or to see the wisdom and the power that all of it gives you. Yeah, see, transmute, play, and then take risk. So it feels like the energy can get a lot lighter, but it is going to require you to take that risk, right? And that was the moon card with strength. It may be dark. There may not be a lot of light here. It may be shrouded in a lot of confusion and things that you don't even understand. Maybe just quite simply, you just need to know that, like Lauren B said in her real-time shadow work video, Untitled Tarot, sometimes good things happen, or sometimes bad things happen to good people. And just because something happened to you doesn't mean that you were deserving of it, doesn't mean that you were asking for it. But you do have the ability to overcome it, and if you so choose, it feels like you'll also have the ability to bring light to that situation, to bring awareness to that, so that others know that they don't have to sort of go through it or suffer through it in silence either. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be extremely traumatic. I think sometimes as humans we can be a little bit softer than we fully realize. And we can be severely impacted by things that weren't necessarily traumatic, right? It was just a bad experience. But it keeps us from like ever doing it again. So, whatever the severity, it may not necessarily be. Take it as it resonates, right? And also, like, if you feel, I think we can do a thing where we sort of downplay and minimize our own traumatic experiences sometimes. But if you feel like it is genuinely something that, like, isn't one of those life-shattering things or completely life-altering things to the point where, someone may, like, if it was bad but it wasn't, like, extremely traumatic, you also want to make sure that you go to someone who's not going to minimize that, or who doesn't do, like, a trauma Olympics, right? Like, when you go to them and you tell them what you're going through, then they tell you about what they're going through and how what they're going through is worse than what you're going through. That may not be helpful in your situation. Who was it? Surrender. First you got release, now you got surrender. And that big old third eye, now it's shiny. All emphasis on that third eye. With the laurel wreath around it, there is an energy of victory here. I feel like that's the energy of seeing your... Ooh, with the pillar. The pillar is the Empress in the tarot, by the way. But there is this energy that's almost like contextualizing. See, when I say like how the past and the present, or how the past and the future meet in the present, and how you're really good at using sort of like a past example, knowing what you need to build it out into, or knowing what it needs to evolve into in the future, and creating a plan in the present to move it that way. I feel like this is that energy. But this is also, it feels like a gate of resurrection. It feels like maybe there's a part of you that's been missing or dormant or asleep or away for a long time. And maybe that contained your passion and your creativity. Maybe because your passion and creativity was associated or linked to your bravery, your courageousness, your self-expression in a way that you haven't really expressed yourself lately. I feel like that surrender, it's this energy that's like, I feel like it's almost like accepting that it happened without attaching certain reasons to it. It may be also, you may find yourself in a space eventually to release any other party involved in the part that they played in it. Because you may discover that, like, if you're angry with someone, holding on to that anger just poisons you and takes you out of your happiness and your joy. And forgiveness isn't necessarily like letting someone back into your life and giving them full access to you. Not in all situations. But forgiveness is sort of like a release of what happened in the past and who it happened with, to make yourself available for your present and to move forward into the future in a way that is lesser bound and defined by what happened in the past. So, all right, Capricorn, all the best.